Okay, this is the second time I've recorded this video. This is Kristen Codes, and I'm coding every day until I become a web developer. Let me just enlarge this. Oh, that's not what we want to do. Um, so I'm gonna get straight into it because I don't have much time to. At first, I had a lot of time. Now I don't. I had some calls. I had to help a family member. Okay, so yesterday we talked about um, doing the front end mentor challenge. This one right here, which is the time tracking dashboard. It involves some HTML, some CSS, some JavaScript, and it got a JSON file so that we could populate these squares based on the selecting daily, weekly, or monthly, right? And I think yesterday when I was on this, I was just doing the I just had two cards. So I'm gonna show you guys what I have today. Let's go here, dispose of this port, go offline. All right, inspect this, move me right here, move my big head out the way, big ball head. All right. All right. So as you can see, I added some cards. Initially, we just had these two cards, and I'm gonna go over how I structure my HTML because I'm really satisfied with the way I have my HTML and my CSS set up because I told myself I was not gonna go through future projects without having extremely structured and understandable HTML and CSS because it can get extremely crazy, and I don't like scrolling through this and not knowing where everything is. So I don't know if people have reservations about leaving stuff like this. I don't care. It's for now. It's for me. If I work professionally and someone says, "Hey, they don't like that," then I'll change it. But for now, we will have all of these things right here to let us know where things are. It would be cool if there was like an add-on that could take the comment, like if I could go from this comment down and then close it with an arrow. That would be cool. But anyway, all right. So let's start with at the beginning. So I did say that all my future projects I was going to start with mobile. I refuse to start with the desktop version. I don't know why, but every time I start with desktop, it just seems a lot harder to go from desktop to mobile when I start adding media queries and stuff, or just doing anything, or even trying to make it responsive without media queries in some places. So the first thing I did was I wrapped everything in a dash container. And then I created the profile card. And in the profile card, I separated the profile card from top to profile card bottom. So we have the top right here, and then we have the bottom right here. In the top, we have an avatar image, and then we have a div of avatar info, which says report for, and then the name of the user. If y'all see me look down, that's because Malachi is right there doing his stuff. I don't know what he's doing. And as soon as I said his name, he froze. Like, now he's looking at me. And let me not look at him too long because then he's going to stare into my soul and want me to pet him and scratch him and will be demanding about it. Okay, so that is the profile card, right? So in this project, I went through this a couple of times because I wanted all of the class names to be streamlined. I didn't worry too much on the profile card, but I was worried on the actual activity cards because when I target them with JavaScript, I need that to be like uniform so that I'm not doing a whole bunch of going back and forth and changing this name and changing that name. Every card is wrapped in an activity card, has an activity card top, has an activity card bottom, has an activity info that contains the activity type and the activity hours. Then we have another class inside of activity card bottom, which is DWM, daily, weekly, monthly. And it has the ellipse and the previous activity once we set up the functionality. So it'll populate this P and these hours and these hours. This will be the current hours, and these will be the previous times hours. So previous day, week, or month hours. And I did this for each card. So each card is set up like that. The only difference is that in the main wrapper where it says activity card, I placed work or play or study, study. Oh, why is exercise? Oh yeah, my bad. Exercise is right in my face. Exercise, social, and self-care. So we have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and they all have their own individual colored thing. And so let's get into the CSS. So again, well, I was going through my CSS a couple of times, and again, the goal of this project was uniformity, because I needed it to be structured. I needed to have a good foundation, so that once I'm going through my HTML and CSS, I'm not searching around and going up and down and wondering where this and that is. No. Now, y'all might look at this as overkill. I'm pretty sure I can go back in and change some of this, because I mean, really all it needs is activity card bottom right here. I'll go back and refactor it, but at the time I was like already in the coding mode, and I had my ideas, and I was just like going edit. So I will go back and refactor, make it look pretty and stuff. So we started off with a decent CSS reset or whatever. I need to get one of those CSS resets, so I can just copy and paste. Like, I think there's this guy with the last name Como. He has a CSS reset that I could use or something like that. I added the root colors that was in the style guide. See, the Frontend Mentor gives you a style guide. If you're using Frontend Mentor, sometimes these colors are bad. Now, I'm saying something negative about Frontend Mentor, but the Frontend Mentor site and the challenges and what it does is amazing. But sometimes the colors are off, and you might have to use a color picker. So I did add the font. The font was added at the top here. It is Rubik. Sometimes I will add the font as an import in the CSS file, but one time I had an issue with that and I couldn't figure it out. But it seems like every time I link it right here, I never have an issue. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Where are we? Style. Okay. Got all the colors. Set the background color, the font family to Rubik. And of course we have everything in the dash container. But I think what's most important is the default card settings. So all the cards have the same general settings on their on the activity cards. The activity cards have the same things going on. Again, I know this is probably overkill, but I'm gonna go back in and refactor this, because I feel like all it needs is activity card bottom.dwm or activity card bottom, .dwm image. It doesn't need all this extra stuff, but And then here are the cards, because each card, their activity card tops have different colors and icons. So for work it's orange, for play it's blue, for study it's pink, for exercise it's green, and for social it is purple, and for self-care it is yellow. And you can see I created the root variables to make them easier to find for me. So each one had work, play, study, exercise, social, self-care. Okay. And I'm really, I just want to look at this for a moment, because I feel like it's so well organized. It's so nice and stuff. And, I want all my CSS files to look this pretty and to be this organized. And I just love it. It just makes me feel good just looking at it. So moving on. Then we have the script.js. Okay, and this is where we add functionality and we start messing around with this JSON file. In the JSON file, well, we'll get to that in a second. So the first thing I did, I'm going to go over all the code that I have so far. The first thing that I did was I gathered all the cards, each card, except for the profile card for some reason. So I got the work card, the play card, the study card, the exercise card, the social card, the self-care card, and I put them in variables, consts, by doing document.querySelector and picking the class that's attached to them. So if we go to the HTML, you'll see that they have, work right here, play right here. And so I got them and put them in variables. Then I placed the cards in an array. So that we're going to iterate over. I got the time selection ordered list. So that is right here, and it's actually an unordered list. So I grabbed all of these. I grabbed this section right here, the daily, weekly, monthly. The unordered list that contains those LIs. And I want to change this because it is an unordered list. Okay, so I gathered the unordered list element, and then I want to get the list items from the unordered list. So I did const times equals time selection dot query selector all li, and I put everything inside of times, and then I created a variable called user pick, and based on which one the user selects, it's going to change user pick to a certain number. Then what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to loop through the times, right, the LIs, and add event listeners to each one so that on click they perform a certain action or set user pick to something. So we did a for loop, let I equal 0 while I is less than or equal to times.length, which the length is 3, minus 1. We're going to increment I. So then I'm looping through the times array. So, I'm going through the times array times I. So that would be 0 dot add event listener. The event listener is click. We pass the event, prevent default, and then I put it into a switch statement. So we get the text content. So the text content is either gonna say daily, weekly, or monthly. And so we have daily. So in the case that this is daily, the user pick will be 0, which also corresponds to the times array. So 0, 1, 2. So if it's weekly, it does this. If it's monthly, it'll do this. All right. And then when we click, we also do the get JSON info function, which I think that's a little overkill. I don't think each time you press that, it should go through a whole, going through the whole step of promise or request and response and everything. I don't know. Maybe that's okay. I'll learn in the future. I'm pretty sure somebody will comment. I'm just learning JSON and the fetch API and everything. So I was really proud of myself because I think I got to this point until I started Googling stuff, because I was like, hold on. I got the request URL, which is data.json. It's a relative path. So again, this is the const get JSON info function. Inside this function, I put the request URL for the JSON file, which is data.json. Then I created a new request and placed the request URL variable inside of the new request object. And then for the response, I did await fetch request, because I know you got to put await in front of fetch because it is a part of the fetch API. I'm gonna have to go through again. I'm still learning this, so we just have to await a response, and then we have to after we do that, we have to await. I created an activities text variable and to put the response.text. I know you can do response.json, but I prefer to do response.text and then to do json.parse. That makes more sense to me because we never know what this is going to be. And honestly, this should probably have a try catch or some if thing around it, just in case the file that we are getting doesn't have anything in it or something or whatever. But we're not to that point yet. We're not using web like I plan on doing a project where I use the Poke API to make like a Pokedex. That seems like something that a lot of people do. So I want to do that. So anyway, const activities data equal json.parse activities text. So we take the activities text from the response and we because once we do response.text, it changes all of it into a string, which is I guess a JSON string. And then we do json.parse. We pass the activities text in there, and then we pass that JavaScript object into activities data. So now we have the update cards, which has the parameter user pick and activities data. So let's go to the function update cards. I know there's a lot of notes here because as I work through my JavaScript and I'm thinking, I'm always like writing notes, and then I go back in and I erase the notes and I make them simpler. So up here, you'll see it just says gather cards, but there was like a whole bunch of stuff. And so as I go, it goes from looking really rough to looking like kind of pretty. This one should be cleaned up a bit, but I'm gonna leave it here because I don't know. No, yeah, this one has to stay like this because I had some problems when I was trying to loop, like when I was accessing the JSON data. You see it goes from, it's an array of objects. So then to access the first object, you would do, the array at index 0, and then we would do dot title, dot time frames, but I was and then dot current, but I was thinking of it differently and doing it wrong because I was trying to use bracket notation in, I guess, the wrong way. And I think I need to go over objects and bracket notation just to make sure it's in my mind correctly. So anyway, we have the parameters pick and data, and pick is going to be based on the user pick, and data is going to be based on the activities data that we get right here. So then we create a for loop, let I equal 0 while I is less than or equal to cards array dot length. So here's the cards array dot length. Then we're going to do console dot log data I dot time frames dot daily dot current. You know what I hate about what I just read is that I got slightly confused and I can't remember why I created this for loop. So let's see. I wrote some notes. Based on the pick, we need to update the card. So let's break it down. Let's get the current activity hours and previous activity based on current choices. So let's get the current activity hours and previous activity based on the current choice. Okay. So then I guess we're looping over the cards.length array. Work card, play card, study card, exercise card, social card, self card. So we're looping over each one of these. And then we do data I, time frames, daily, current. Because we need to go through each one of these. Oh, I see. So somewhere, okay, this is why I had this right here. This just confused me by itself. When you add this to it, the cards array I, at I, which would be 0, we would get the work card. And then we query selector activity hours. So activity hours would be this. Oh, I hope my face is not too much in the way. All right. So then we have activity hours right here, activity hours, right? So we get the activity hours, text content, and then I was gonna set it to current. So if we pick daily for work, current would be 5 hours. And then if we did previous for daily, it would be 7 hours for the last week for the previous one. So that's where I am with that. And I would do some work on Cam, but I think, am I gonna do some work on Cam? Yeah, you know, maybe I could just do this function right here. Let's try to clean up this function. So let's see, we have cards array I, right? Dot query selector dot activity hours dot text content equals data. Let's make this smaller. Equals data I dot time frames dot daily dot current. Okay, and then we want to do this again, so we're going to do cards array I dot query selector, and this time we're going to do, oh wow, why did it do that? Okay, cool. So it's already up. It's already trying to update. All right. So now we do, where am I? Okay. Cards array I dot query selector. We need the activity previous dot activity previous dot text content equals we're gonna say data I okay, so data, let me think about this. So if we're going through the cards array length, that should equal 5 because it's 6, so that should equal 5, and then the data should only equal 3. So I shouldn't be right here. I think pick should be right there. Yeah, pick should be right there. Data pick. There we go. Yeah, and instead of time frames daily dot current, it should be previous. Oops, we're in the wrong one. Pick dot time frames dot daily dot previous. And if I do that, okay, that's weird. So query selector activity previous. Okay, it selected it. It changed all of these to that. Okay. So maybe I should, I think, yeah. So that's what I want to do. I want to use another switch. Well, I'm going to use a switch statement. I'm pretty sure there's a better way to do this. And if y'all feel like there's better ways of me doing these things, you can always let me know. I think the key we're going to put right here is, should it be pick? So if pick is 0, Then we want to, if pick is 0, then that's daily. So we want to do cards array. I feel like I should just put this in a function. But we're just gonna make it look messy for now. So cards array 0, and then that's gonna change all of those to 5. Cards array I. Okay, yeah, query selector dot time frames dot daily dot previous equals. Okay, so we need some backtick action. I'm gonna say last we need a variable. Let current time equal, and then we're gonna say current time equal daily, and then we're gonna say daily last let me look at let's look at the image of what it needs to look like, the mobile design. So last week, or last week, or it can say yesterday or last month. Okay. All right. So we're gonna say you don't even need to put daily. We're just gonna put yesterday, this, that, boom. So we click that. Yesterday, 7 hours. Okay. And then we should put right here, daily text content. We should append that with hours. No, together, because that's how it is in the document thing. Yeah, there we go. So that's how that should be. Okay, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but we will get to that. And then I want to copy all of this. Oop. Okay. Oop. Close this. Yesterday, data, pick, time frames, data, previous, hours. So we went from, so this is going to be weekly, or we're going to put week. I should have put just yesterday. Okay. And then we're going to say yesterday. We're going to say last week. Hours, like that. So if it's weekly, daily. Why is it doing that for? So let me understand this. So we run a for loop over cars.length, and if it's the pick is 0, then we're going to, based on, hold on, cards array dot I. So cards array I, we do query selector activity hours text content equals. Do I need to do? Let me think about this. So do I have any other console.logs? Because I want to get those out of the way. Because I'm about to try something. So when I click that, does it give me a, yeah. So on weekly, oh, oops. All right. I feel like I should just finish it and then try to figure out, because I feel like it shouldn't be changing all of these, and I'm trying to understand why it's changing all of these. But if I press weekly, it does it too. It changes all of them. I think it's because of this right here. I think that's why CLG. What if I do this? Let's see. It selects all of those. Okay, so this is a problem. I wonder. I wonder. So each one of these has, maybe I can access them like that. Huh. I've never run into this problem before. So I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna probably do this off camera because we're getting past the time and I want to make sure this uploads today. I'm gonna have to find a way to target each one specifically, or maybe I could have just added cards array. Man, it would have been cool if I would have made this into an object. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm gonna make this into, can I make this into an object of an array or something like that? Anyway, yeah, that's where we that's where we are for now. Let me leave some notes for myself. Need to target each element based on activity type. Remember, this is where we left off. Look at the log. Okay. So anyway, where am I in my little journey? What's going on today? Today I went to, today was another test of patience. I went to the VA, and today was a better day. I did have some anxiety about, and I think I had some anxiety about, man, because sometimes I read the comments and I try not to let the comments get to me, because I've seen other creators have comments Did I just say creator? That I just gave myself the ick. Um, I've seen other people who make videos and stuff, and they look at the comments and it really impacts them. And I do see a lot of people talking about how front end is not this and it's not that and it's not gonna be blah 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 blah. And sometimes, like, I even today I was like, man, I have so much to learn. I have so much I need to do in my own life. So much I need to because right now I'm unemployed and I'm trying to find a job in my area. And um I basically told somebody, I said, I'm not going back to cleaning toilets. I'm not going back to cleaning up around dumpsters. I'm not going to be a plumber and I'm not doing HVAC. That's just not happening. Um, but I will do a myriad of other things as long as I'm not cleaning up and getting poop all over me and stuff. So I'm willing to get down and dirty. But I think I'm going to try to work at the local school district because I was an interventionist at another school district for a time. So um, I have high hopes for that. I talked to somebody who's like, he does a lot of community service and he knows a lot of and he works with a lot of the schools. So hopefully he can talk to some of the administrators and like some of the principals once I can use them as a reference or whatever. So, I guess I was just, I have normalized having doubts as a part of the process and a part of the challenge of actually getting where I want to go. So when I have these doubts and I have these feelings, I try to pause and compartmentalize those feelings, especially in the moment, because I'm trying to, I feel like I need to look at my life not just from the micro level, every moment, every feeling, but in the macro, as in what bigger goals I'm trying to achieve and where I'm trying to go. So sometimes I do feel like, man, am I doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to do? I hope I'm not wasting my time. But I really don't want the future, the future Chris, to be sitting around saying, "Wow, I should have did this a long time ago." And I don't know if I'll have this same mentality to just hustle and just to learn and grind. I hate, let me not say the word hustle because I know that has a negative connotation or association. But yeah, sometimes like today, I was like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this? Is it okay? Do people feel some type of way about me? Uh, do they feel weird about me? I was very in my feelings. I have a lot of social anxiety, and I went out today, and I was just, sometimes it just messes with me. And so I got in my feelings, but I took a nap, and I ate some ginger snaps. A good nap always solves a lot, but sometimes you can't take a nap. I know everybody does a lot of things to self-soothe, but for me, those naps, they gave me ibuprofen. When I get stressed, I have a lot of jaw pain, right? And I clench. So for the last month and a half, it's been hard to eat. And every time I open my mouth, it's been painful. Like talking right now is okay, but if I start eating, it's a whole new world of discomfort. But I've been doing a lot of exercises, and that's been helping it. But I guess I just want to share that, like, I'm scared too. Like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. I really don't. I am so uncertain, but I don't think I have the luxury of not moving forward at this point. Like, we in it. And I think anybody who's watching with me and we going on this journey together, like, we in it. I don't think at this point it's reasonable to stop, because I think stopping is the pain of not achieving or not going forward and looking back and saying, well, I could have been at this point if I would have kept going. I don't want to experience that pain, and I don't want to experience it anymore. More so than I feel now, because I think that that backpack of stuff, of the stuff that we just pick up as adults, gets heavier and heavier over time, and I just don't want to. I want to do right by myself, and right. I want to do the right thing for me and the right thing for the future me. So I just want to share that I was having some doubts, but it's gonna be all right, because I will be on this mug tomorrow, clickety clacking away. I will be in that Discord server in the morning with myself muted and just coding all this stuff. So I feel like tomorrow, once y'all see this, I'll have the full dashboard going, and then we can move on to the next front end mentor challenge. And I think I'm going to try to do more of these challenges on the when I record, just so y'all can see the process. But sometimes I like to like just do it by myself and then talk about it afterwards. I like that, and I think a lot of other people like that. So we're, and I think people do like when I go into the MDN documentation, and I do like going into the documentation too, because I just don't. I just number one, I don't want to be one of those people that like doesn't read documentation, and number two, I don't want to be one of those people that lean on AI. It is very scary to me when I see on Reddit or YouTube or wherever people saying that they use AI in their undergrad. There was somebody in Discord telling me that there's their professor in their first year of their computer science degree is advocating for them to use AI. And I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with using a pen, but I think you need to learn how to write with a pencil first, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Uh, I don't think, I feel like it's a slow nerf. I don't know if the kids still say that word. I think it's a slow nerf to use AI in that way, and I only use it to give me problems to solve, and that's it. I won't use it in any other way. Sometimes when I search for something on Google, it'll pop up, but other than that, I will not be using AI, and I do not want to be one of those people that, like, without AI, they're just like, what's going on? I like to look at it from a distance. That's cool for y'all, but I just want to let y'all know in the comments, I I see it as trolling, and I think it's funny. I just heart it. I'm not about to use AI, so um, anyway, I am about to end this video. I will be back tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure this will be finished, and then I'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about where I go from here. I'm just probably going to do the next front end challenge. So yeah, this has been successful. I will be reviewing JSON and then talking about it tomorrow as well. Okay. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.